from National Signing Day. We'll have you all morning Wednesday, starting at 7 a.m. on the TexAgs stream, and then, of course, on the Zone from 8 to 11. So it'll be a 4-hour show. And on that Elko front, I didn't get to talk to OB about it, but why Duke? Why now? Got a lot of things to get into. Good morning to you, OB.
Good morning.
It is the Go Hour, by the way, and it is TexAgs Radio.
Was it a good weekend for you?
It was. I finally got some stuff done at the house, which nobody at home or at work cares about my personal life. But that being said, it was nice to get certain things, and yeah, it was nice just to start feeling like we're living here for reals.
Well, that's good. That's good. It was better than my weekend, going over to Houston and watch the Aggie basketball team struggle. Yeah, didn't have their best outing. It looked kind of sloppy.
Well, it looked similar to Notre Dame for a little bit, right? Like
bad first half and then strong second half surge.
And a good surge to start the second half, and they were in it, and then they weren't, but they were in it.
Yeah, they just were too inconsistent and too many turnovers. We'll get to all of that later, I'm sure. But I guess if that's work, you're blessed, right?
You
are
to
watch a basketball team.
So we watched that game. We watched a little UFC. I only watch the free stuff when it comes to the UFC. I'm a cheapskate, so we watched that. We did a little UFC. We watched Hawkeye, which I know you're all over that show, right?
Is that about the guy from MASH?
No, Hawkeye is an Avenger.
Oh, the guy with the arrow, the bow and arrow.
There you go. Good show. Really good show. All right, so let's start off with Mike Elko and Duke. There was a moment, I think talking to Billy helped me kind of understand everything on Friday, but there was a moment I was like, why would anyone want to take the head job at Duke? And then I remembered, and we had a conversation about it on Friday, people have their reasons, man. Like, they want to be a head coach. They're impatient. They like that part of the country. It's an opportunity to take over a team in a part of the world that you love. I mean, who cares? It's like that's what he wanted to do. The timing was right for him, and he took it.
Yeah, from what I understand, he was at Wake Forest for several years and liked living in the Carolinas. And he had a chance to go live in the Carolinas, be in charge of a program, get paid $3 million a year or more, who knows. And, those were enough factors to make him go. Now, if it was me, and it's not, everybody has their own thoughts, but he's really good. And, maybe if he stayed one more year, a better job. He turned down Kansas. He had turned down Temple. Duke is kind of like that ilk, they typically don't win, even though they've shown in the last decade that they're capable, if everything falls right, of having a strong
in the last decade. Would you say they're better than Duke? I mean, better than Kansas?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Without a doubt. I mean, they played A&M in the Chick-fil-A Bowl in 2013. I think they had another decent year just a couple of years ago. So, but it's an uphill battle. But if that's an area of the country that you really like and you're saying, I'm tired of waiting, and this is I think this is the opportunity I've been looking for, then by all means, do whatever makes you happy. And as those that support A&M, we should just say, hey, thanks for what you did here, because he took over a really mediocre at best, and that's being kind, defense, and turned it around. And he got a defense that was ranked in the top 10 last year, and I think A&M is third in the nation in scoring defense this year. So he did a heck of a job.
He did a wonderful job. Look, we all have our reasons. We all have our timing. I don't know if you've been at a job, OB, before where you're just like, I like it here, but it's I just need a change. I just need to go do something else. I want to scratch that itch, if you will. And it happened this summer, and then, this offseason. And then you look at how Twitter, that's not a real place, by the way, it's just a place people type, but how Twitter reacted to it in hopes that it would destroy this A&M momentum when it comes to recruiting. And I haven't seen any decommits. I haven't seen any. I've seen, people are interested to see what direction they go, but from all reports that I saw this weekend, the future commits, they're all on board still.
Yeah, it appears that way. Because I was getting nervous about it, and you're right. I don't think I've seen a decommit. Had a big recruiting weekend, a lot of guys in town. So Jimbo Fisher was able to sit right down with them and say, hey, here's the situation, here's my plan, whatever. And I do think that a lot of those guys that came in here that have committed, especially the linemen, have, and this is not meant in any way to diminish Mike Elko, but I think more of them had a relationship with Elijah Robinson. Mm-hmm. And, recruiting is more than anything about relationships with the coach. And I think Elijah Robinson is the reason, at least some of them on defense, decided to stick with A&M.
So in the 80s and 90s, and even before that, television news that I used to work in, there were such great relationships with the anchors, right? Like the anchors, you felt like you knew them. In Houston, there was Dave Ward, Bob Allen, all these legends. And then when those guys would retire or leave, the feeling was that viewers would go, right? So stations started switching the way they would advertise or market the station and make it about the station itself as opposed to the personalities, because personalities come and go, but the brand stays the same. In a way, we're kind of seeing that with Texas A&M and the fact that this is Jimbo's brand, and yes, Elko's a huge part of it, but the family has not changed. It's going to look a little different.
Well, I think that if you look at Alabama, who's had more coordinator changes and assistant coach changes than Alabama, but the head coach remains the same, and I do think that that's a huge difference. So Jimbo Fisher, he's going to remain the coach here, and there's a lot of trust and respect that Jimbo Fisher has. And I think players are attracted to that. But I also can remember, and I had to, watch this because of, who's in my house. But 10 years ago, maybe it was more than 10 years ago now, 15 years ago, Cal, of all places, had a top 10 recruiting class. And then Tosh Lapui, who was their lead recruiter, went to Washington.
I remember that, yeah.
And within a week, Cal's recruiting class was like back into the 40s ranking. All their guys were leaving. So on the one hand, Jeff Tedford didn't have, as a head coach, didn't have the I don't want to say respect, the name, that presence that a Nick Saban who does, or Jimbo Fisher has. On the other hand, what I was just talking about with Elijah Robinson being a recruiter on so many of these guys and there was the relationship more so than with the defensive coordinator. Well, there was the relationship with Lapui more than anybody else, and he was gone. So I think it's the combination with the defensive recruits.
Yeah.
It's the combination of, we know who the head coach is, and he's a successful guy, and it's easy to relate to him. He relates to us, but we also have this guy that we've built a relationship, and he's staying. So,
Hey, let's first off, let's set out the topic out there. We're just curious what you guys are thinking about. Who do you want to see as the new defensive coordinator? We're not going to really speculate on who, because I think they're doing their due diligence, figuring it out. But who do you want? OB will give me some thoughts. I'll give you some thoughts, and people I'd like to see them consider as the defensive coordinator. You can do that by calling us on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150, or you can text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. 1150 A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking. Check out the website, amb.com. Let's say hello around the room. We start off with outside the glass with Dalton Hughes. Good morning, Dalton.
There isn't really glass. That's a weird way to phrase it.
There's glass right here, and you're outside the glass.
But I'm not outside that glass. Glass leads to the lobby.
But the door is open from the lobby to where you are, so you're still outside the glass.
Gotcha. Happy Monday, boys.
Hey, buddy.
We excited for this week?
I am.
I'm a little stressed.
Are you?
Are you?
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm making you do Zoom from the road?
That, and just if I knew the actual, at this time, if I knew the actual time.
Yeah, that is stressful.
Site that Walter Nolan's going to be doing his ceremony.
So are we allowed to talk about this? You're on the road. You're going to be following Walter around.
Well, if I can.
If you can find him.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Where's Walter?
OB will be joining us from the road. I got to go get your headphones today. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, it'll be fun. Fun show. Lots of guests. Lots of graphics.
You excited about zooming with us wherever you're at and just doing live reports from somewhere in Tennessee?
Powell, Tennessee. Yeah, sure. That's not the part I'm stressed about.
The actual job that you're supposed to do while you're there, that's the part you're stressed about?
No, it's actually nailing down where I need to be, where I'm going to meet this guy. I've made about 50 calls up there trying to find out.
I was around you on one of those calls. It just seems like they don't know.
So we'll see.
You'll be there.
I got 24 hours or 48 hours to figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great trip. We're looking forward to it. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson, good morning.
Good morning. I, for one, am not stressed. The only thing worrying me is how I'm going to put together the best white elephant Christmas gift for our Hanukkah Christmas party at TexAgs this week that I've never been to. I was asking OB for advice, but
I didn't give her much.
Yeah, that didn't lead to anywhere. So
I forgot.
Gonna have to figure it out myself. You forgot?
I forgot that. I mean, to me, it's all about National Signing Day.
Yeah, I know. There's more important things going on.
I'm socially awkward at parties. That's a fact. You'll see.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see. Well, we do have a couple responses to our topic. First off, we have a question for OB. Johnny in College Station asks, OB, do you think Fisher will hire in-house?
It's certainly a possibility, but I would think not. I wouldn't mind if you made Elijah the defensive coordinator, but I could be ignorant on this, but I don't think Elijah's actually called the defensive plays.
Right.
Not saying he can't.
No.
But so I think it's a possibility, but I would think that he's going to go out and hire the best defensive coordinator available.
Yeah, I agree, and he can. And I bet you there are several people who you think are very happy at their gig right now who've had agents reach out to Jimbo and be like, you know what? It's not a lateral move. It's a move up, and I'd like to go to College Station. What else do you have for us, Anna Rose?
Mike in Citrus Hills, Florida says A&M's new defensive coordinator, 1, Elijah Robinson, 2, Tyler Santucci, 3, Derek Mason. Promoting from within would be a big draw for future defensive position hires. Mason would be relentless. It's a win-win situation.
I like watching Mason on the sidelines. I like watching his press conferences. He's I think he's, I don't know where in the pecking order he would rank, but I would say he's a name that they'd probably look into.
Oh, I would think that without a doubt. I've heard the Kentucky coordinator, defense coordinator. I think his name's Brad White.
That sounds right. Yep.
I think there would have been some interest maybe in Will Muschamp, but there's been some changes over in Georgia.
Yep.
And Jeremy Pruitt, the guy who was the defensive coordinator for
Alabama.
For Jimbo Fisher at Florida State.
That's true. Yeah, and former Tennessee.
So that could be a possibility. And you know what? I've heard Barry Odom mentioned as a guy that fans would like for Jimbo to be interested in. I don't know if he runs the same scheme that I think Jimbo would like to see.
He's good, though.
He is good.
He's really good.
So I guarantee you that whatever the choice is made, it'll be the right choice. I have that much faith in what Jimbo Fisher does.
I agree with that. All right, when we come back, we're going to kind of go through some of those options out there. Also, I'm going to bring up a topic and see how OB responds to it. It'll be interesting. Right now, a moment for the Association of Former Students. Our good buddies out there, Porter Garner, the CEO, does such a wonderful job, but the association's been around forever doing the work, right? They've been putting in a lot of work, but they need your help. They've been doing it for over 140 years, but your gifts have empowered them to be here, there, and everywhere, and they certainly are everywhere, helping Aggies all around the world, and it's your donations that go such a long, long way. Helps out with the Student Muster Committee, helps out with the Corps of Cadets, Visitor Center, Parsons Mounted Cavalry, the Fish Drill Team, support of the MSC, the list goes on and on. For $100 a year, basically $9 to $10 a month, you're going to get the plaque, the decal, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. To learn more about the impact of the association, make a gift or get involved, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Best wishes. Best wishes this holiday season. From the Zone family to yours.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongos help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongos. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongos Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractor is your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine weekday mornings 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor here on the Zone.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
All we want from this bowl season is one more win.
It is up, and the fight, Texas Aggies take down the top-ranked Tide, 41-38.
From TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, it's the Aggies versus the Demon Deacons. It's the Gator Bowl. Tune in New Year's Eve on the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com. Or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
It's a great day when Oasis is on the air here on the Zone. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Is that part of the OB sound collection? No. Not a big fan of Oasis, huh?
No.
Hate?
I don't hate.
Just not your thing.
Sounds a little bit, I don't know.
British?
What is your thing, if you don't mind?
My thing would be classic rock and roll or old, classic country.
I'll take the old classic country over the new stuff.
Too, and I don't. The old guy yelling at clouds and get off my lawn guy. Yeah. Music has been on a steady decline since the 70s.
I don't know how to respond to that. I think our ears just get used to a certain sound, and the new like I listen to some of the new rap. I used to be into not my thing. Not my thing. Anna Rosa, you a big rap person?
I used to be, but I feel like I've kind of grown out of it. But I also, if like someone's playing rap music, I'm not going to be upset about it. I would never choose to listen to it, though, if that makes sense.
I don't know if it does. Just kidding. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, Obi, I'm going to just paint the scenario for you, and because this actually happened today, but I just in a different world. So let's pretend like it's the NCAA tournament, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And A&M, because Buzz got that team going, right?
Okay.
And they get themselves a great draw in the NCAA tournament, right? They're really happy about it. An hour later, the NCAA tournament committee comes out and says, we're going to have to redraw the matchups and figure it out. Or, I know they don't draw, but we're going to have to figure it out. There was a mistake in the way we figured out, and we're going to have to redo everything. That happened in UEFA. I know you're a big UEFA guy, but in the Champions League, which is basically the NCAA tournament.
I thought UEFA might be like an African country. You ever thought you were going to tell me something political?
The European Soccer Federation.
Oh, okay.
So they have this thing called the Champions League, which is like the NCAA tournament. You have all these different conferences coming in for a huge tournament of champions. In the round of 16, there was a matchup between Man U and PSG that was announced. Apparently, they didn't put in all the teams when they were supposed to pull out the teams. So now they have to redraw the entire thing, and people are losing their minds. Could you imagine that, though, in American sports culture, how that would go, how our Twitterverse would just be destroyed?
Yes, it would be a lot of people be quite upset, and I wouldn't blame them. I think I would just, if I could, just throw the team that was left out in late and then say, oh, yeah, that's how it was, and then fire whoever was responsible for such a gaffe. But because that's not normally, I don't want to see somebody get fired. But
right, that's fireable.
I mean, that's pretty huge.
Huge. I mean, like huge. So my team now has to take on a team that's going to beat them. So I'm not happy about that.
But if you want your team to win the championship, which you do, they're going to have to beat somebody like that anyway, right?
Not in the round of 16. Though.
Okay.
Not in the round of 16.
See, I don't understand how.
It's like you don't want to take on I'm trying to think. You would rather avoid Alabama in the first round of the college football playoffs. You'd rather get them later in the next round. I know there's only 2 rounds, but that's basically what I'm saying. You'd rather take on one of the better teams in the country later.
Yeah, I understand seeding and all, but I don't know.
Let's move on. Let's do college football defensive coordinator seeding. Who are some names that you would like to see, OB?
Well, I think the ones we've talked about, I wouldn't be adverse to seeing Jimbo hire from within if he feels like that's the best thing. Sometimes the guys has it. You can look at them and say, okay, they're ready. And sometimes you can look at a guy and say, yeah, you know what, he's going to be a good defense coordinator. He's just not quite ready yet.
Right.
So that's up to Jimbo. But let's just say this has to be guys from outside. I think Derek Mason would be a great candidate, especially with what's going on at Auburn. I'm sure. I would imagine he would jump at the first offer to get out of there. That ship is sinking, and he's done a good job as a defensive coordinator at Stanford. And you're limited what you can do at Vanderbilt. But I think he's good. I think I don't know a lot about the Brad White guy, but it seems like Kentucky plays pretty good defense. Yeah. And then Pruitt, from what I understand, that's going to come with some baggage. So maybe that scares you off, but he really did do a heck of a job at Florida State as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the defensive coordinator was he the guy who was the defensive coordinator when Florida State won the national championship?
He might have been. I don't remember.
Obviously, he was at Alabama when
he
won one. So, and then, for those that mentioned Barry Odom, I don't know, is he a 4-3 guy? If he is, I have to admit, I don't know. Seems like they always had good defensive linemen when he was at Missouri.
Pruitt was the DC in 2013.
Yep.
Thank you. So, and I thought Muschamp would have been a good candidate, but with Lanning going, Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator, leaving Georgia to be the head coach at Oregon, there's been some changes at Georgia, so I doubt if he would even be inclined to move.
I'll make this blanket statement. Pretty much anybody but maybe Will Muschamp now, because of Georgia's situation and his ties to the area, would jump at this job because it is probably top 3 defensive jobs in the country. So it is going to be a step up for anybody with the classes coming in and what has been established here. I think everybody would be like, yeah, sign me up.
I think Odom would be good if he, again, I'd have to do homework to find out if he's going to, sometimes you can be a good defense coordinator, but if your style doesn't match, like say if you want 4 linebackers, well, A&M, their defense is strongest at line, in the defensive line.
Yeah, and you got guys coming in on the defensive line.
Right, so I want 4 of those guys out there and maybe 2 linebackers the way they've been playing, right? So is his style or is his system best for your talent? And it's maybe not. But if it was, you could kind of, throw a wrench into Arkansas's plans.
Right.
which never, and get a good defensive coordinator.
I'd like him.
Of course, you could hire Mason and hurt Auburn. They
already hurt.
Yeah, they're hurting bad. So
I'll throw you some names.
Throw me some.
All right. So Jim Leonard at Wisconsin. But I think he's a 3-4 guy. But some coaches like Mason has coached both 3-4 and 4-2. So,
and they always have good defenses up in Wisconsin. But here's my take on that. It's just such a different game in the Big Ten.
It is.
That, for instance, Brett Bielema is a successful coach in the Big Ten. He's a abject failure in the SEC. I would personally look for somebody that understands what he's getting into in the SEC.
Let me throw you some other names. Here's one that is not an SEC guy. I don't know about his history, but Jimmy Lake, the coach from Washington who shoved the player and I think was fired a couple weeks later.
No, he didn't even shove me, but hit him with a rolled up piece of paper. It's ridiculous. I don't know as much about him, but to me, that's kind of the same thing. The feeling I had about Leonard.
Yep.
Stick with the guys that understand what they're getting into in the SEC.
So some SEC defensive coordinators. How about Arnett out of Mississippi State? Durkin, potentially. And you already mentioned Brad White. Those are just some names. And there may be somebody out there we're not even thinking about. I'm just throwing some names out there.
Yeah. Did you see Mississippi State's best one of their best linebackers transferred? Aaron Brule, I think it is. He's
I didn't see
transferred
that.
somewhere in the Big Ten. If I had to pick between those, I think I'd go with Durkin.
Yeah.
But I think my
your number one choice is Mason?
Mason, maybe he is.
Whoever Jimbo wants is who I want. And I know this sounds such a cop-out, but he knows.
The guy from Kentucky is interesting because I tell you what, if it's Brad White, Jeremy Pruitt, or Derek Mason, I think that's one of those.
Will be fun.
Yeah. It's like I'm playing poker and I need an ace and I get an ace. Do I care if it's the diamonds, hearts, or clubs? No, it's just an ace.
I see Tyler on the BCSI hotline. We'll get to him here in a moment. We'll do that on the other side of the break. But right now, I want everybody to consider Aggieland Outfitters for their Christmas shopping, Hanukkah shopping, holiday shopping, you name it. Go check them out because they've got a great deal for all TexAgs listeners. Because you're listening to this show and because you like OB, you like myself, you like Billy and all the things we do, and Dalton, of course, and Richard, they're going to give you 20% off your entire purchase online. The entire thing. So you're looking for an A&M hoodie. Yeah, you can go around and look at other places and spend more money and not get the same kind of quality. You can do that. Or you can go to AggielandOutfitters.com right now, find the hoodie you want, find the hat that you want, whatever A&M apparel logo that you're looking for, right? And get the best material out there, the top brands out there, the best material, you name it, and get 20% off your entire purchase. All you have to do at checkout is type in TexAgs21. 20% off your entire purchase by typing in TexAgs21 at checkout. Have some fun with this, guys. A lot of great stuff. You can get whatever you're looking for the holidays by going to AggielandOutfitters.com. Type in TexAgs21.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Consider becoming a CASA volunteer to look out for a child and give them and their family a better chance at a brighter future in the happy holiday season they deserve. The next volunteer training session is scheduled for January. Learn more at vfcbrazos.org. Come check out Merry and Bright Maroon and White at the Gardens at Texas A&M this month. The holiday light display is free and open to the public. Deck the Walls is a holiday fundraiser benefiting the Habitat BCS Restore in Bryan. Details are online at habitatbcs.org. Find out more about current and upcoming events and exhibitions at the University Art Galleries in the MSC. Go online to uart.tamu.edu. You can hear the college football semifinals, Alabama versus Cincinnati, and Georgia takes on Michigan. New Year's Eve, starting at 2:30 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country. And Aggie Land is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV. Or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Got my first real 6-string, bought it at the 5 and dime. Played it.
All right, Obi, you got to be happy with this one. Kind of?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Brian Adams.
Brian
right?
Adams. I
Yeah.
know. I was not a fan, but I didn't.
You didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably most of America.
Right.
Didn't hate it. It's a good song, but we didn't jam them.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember he had a video, cuts like a knife, and he's like, cuts like a knife, and he slices an apple in the video. I'm like,
that's hot.
Yeah, man, I'm scared. Don't cut my apple.
It is TexAgs Radio.
Making a pie.
Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I do want to get to the A&B text line for a moment before we go to the BCSI hotline and talk to Tyler. This one comes in from Chase in Houston, our buddy. With all due respect to the guys on the staff, Texas A&M is in a position to get pretty much anyone they want to be the DC. When you're close to potentially winning a championship, it's hard to put the eggs in the basket of guys that never called plays. I get it, unless they've been training up for this moment, right?
Again, if your head coach feels like he has a guy that's ready, then promote him. If not, maybe you make him co-DC and bring in somebody and say, groom him. Do your job, but also groom him. You know, I don't know. I don't know where they are with that.
Yeah, I think they're in a position to where they can take their time. I was worried about it initially when the Elko news dropped, but so far, if you know, reading the tea leaves that I'm getting on from, by the way, the recruiting staff has done such a phenomenal job. This weekend I was glued to the boards.
Yeah, they have. They're knocking it out of the park.
I mean, if you're not a member, a premium member, you've got to go. I mean, the up to the minute updates that we were getting, like it was Howell, Luch, Bronny, back to back to back. It was just great stuff all weekend.
Yeah, it really was. I was so enthralled with it, and they're on top of it. I actually sent them a message last night saying, I'm really impressed. You've done a great job. I can't get enough.
Yeah,
of this coverage,
and I can't get enough. That is the right way to say it. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. Tyler is in San Diego. Wants to talk a little college football playoffs. Tyler, welcome to TexAgs Radio.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, David, you had a guest on Thursday, which I like the guy. I can't remember his name, but you had a guest on Thursday, and y'all were talking about Cincinnati. One of the topics you talked about was Cincinnati getting into the playoffs. And I don't want to lose focus on or awareness on this. It matters who you play week in and week out. Mm-hmm. These guys, I know they beat Notre Dame. But it's like when BYU was given the national championship, whatever year that was, way back
84.
when, because they beat a Michigan team in a bowl game that was like had six wins.
Yeah,
that
6
year.
and 6. Yeah,
And
and had to
they didn't
rally to
play
win that.
anybody. I know. I mean, it was just really, and these guys, and it does matter. And I know they went undefeated, and I know that that's hard, regardless of who you play, to stay focused and wear the target on your back and all that stuff and everything. But it still matters week in and week, the grind that you have to play. I still think our team at 8-4 is a better team than Cincinnati. I do. I think that. I think we could. I think we would have a better chance of beating them than them beating us if we played them head to head. And we've got 4 losses. Well, that's because we grind it out every week. These guys just don't do it.
Let me ask you this.
Bad. Yeah.
Who would you put instead of Cincinnati? I mean, beyond Texas A&M, of course.
Yeah, I know. And I off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's hard to put Notre Dame in for the same reason. They get to pick and choose, place games in their schedule and that sort of stuff. I know it's made years in advance and everything, but there are legacy teams that they put into their schedule, and it kind of builds the way that they want to build who they play difficult one week into the next. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's not. It's pretty spread out.
Based on our system, I think Cincinnati deserves to go this year.
Yeah, but I'm with him.
Yeah,
I think there were probably a half a dozen Power 5 teams, if not more, that would be undefeated with Cincinnati's schedule.
Yeah,
and I don't think Cincinnati could go undefeated.
One other thing from last week's show. I'll give you a team that uses the Coyotes as their mascot.
Okay.
And Olin Irma would know this.
Oh, okay.
La Jolla.
I didn't know La Jolla was the Coyotes or Coyotes. Did not know that.
La Jolla Coyotes. And I remember Irma from high school in Los Fresnos.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you remember?
Uh-oh.
I didn't really know her. I just remember her. She played basketball and
all district
stuff like that and everything. And
are you from La Jolla?
No. I originally from Houston, but we moved down to the Valley when I was really, really young. Lived in Bayview, Texas, which is just right outside of Los Fresnos.
Yeah. Okay. How about that?
Anyway, I ended up going to the Marine Academy there in Harlingen.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 of the 4 high school years, I didn't actually go to Los Fresnos, but I just remember Irma from Los Fresnos.
How about that? I'll have to bring that up to her when I get home.
Yeah, she knew friends of mine and so on and so forth. Anyway, tell her Tyler McDonald to.
Tyler McDonald. I'll have to write that down. Okay. Excellent.
Hey, appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you so much, man.
Guys.
Thank you. That was cool.
You bet.
Oh, I got him right in the middle of you bet.
Yeah, well,
it happens. I apologize, Tyler. Hey, appreciate the call. I lived in La Jolla for a short period of time.
You?
Yeah, I loved it.
I like the Valley. I really do. We have a good time whenever we go down there. We're going down there next week.
Yeah, that's right. You are. I absolutely love. So when I got one of my first sports jobs, I was the director of PR for a indoor soccer team, which meant we have 9 fans. But that being said, I moved and I couldn't find a place to live because it's expensive, as you know. And so there was this apartment complex in La Jolla, very nice apartment complex, but there were several college students living there, and they were renting out a room. So I lived in La Jolla for the first 3, 4, 5 months in San Diego.
Now, see, he's talking about La Jolla, Texas.
Oh, La Jolla. I was thinking La Jolla.
I
was thinking in San Diego.
La Jolla, Texas is that expensive. That's
I thought you were going to San Diego, though. Did you not say you were going there? Oh, no. When you say La Jolla, you're thinking of Texas.
I'm thinking La Jolla, Texas.
Los Fresnos.
That's because he said that there's La Jolla Coyotes.
Well, I'm glad that this conversation doesn't make sense. It makes me feel better about myself. Have you ever been to La Jolla?
I've been to both La Jollas.
Okay.
Yes, I have, in La Jolla, Texas, and La Jolla, California.
That's right, because you are going for, and that's right. It's all
coming together now.
It's all coming together. So to me, there's only one La Jolla, but now there's 2. Especially now that I know Irma played there, I was like, I didn't know Irma lives in California. I was doing the math in my head.
Actually, she did. She did live in San Diego for a while.
Did she?
Yes.
I know she went to college out there, but I didn't know she lived in San Diego as well. So
she did before moving to Austin.
So how do we move away from that?
We just say, hey, no, but nobody from La Jolla is on the list of possible defensive coordinator candidates.
Not that we know of, OB.
You know,
this could be a wide search.
Coyotes might have a good defensive coordinator down
Coyotes, apparently.
Coyotes, depends on how you say it. I would say Coyotes, actually, but I'm trying to be more correct.
More people heard of that segment than I expect. I had a lot of people stop me about that, the Coyote segment.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How funny.
Even my wife, who I didn't know listens ever, she was like, oh, yeah, I heard it all. Like, huh, you didn't tell me that story, hon. Sorry. I told the radio audience first. So I actually, well, you know what we'll do, OB? I had an agree or disagree segment I wanted to do with you, and I was going to throw some statements and just have you agree or disagree. We'll do that on the next side of the break as we try to make sure that I know the difference between La Jolla, Texas, and La Jolla, California. A moment now for my buddy Zach Hester. They're at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Love that place. You should stop by when you're in the area, when you're looking for a new vehicle, because the cars that they have out there, incredible. The deals, incredible. I use that same word again. And also the customer service, beyond incredible. Whatever word is. Anna Rosa, give me a word for beyond incredible. You're a wordsmith. Spectacular.
Oh, gosh. Do you want it to be hip?
No. Just
no? Okay.
Yeah, hip, sure. Hip.
Okay.
Lit.
There we go.
All right.
You don't need me.
No, see, I got OB here. We can do that. But just check them out. Zach does such a great job with his crew out there. Simply call, click, or stop by Caldwell Country Chevrolet. 15 minutes, Brian to Caldwell, short conversation away. But you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and start doing business with Zach and the fellows at Caldwell Country. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
Find out the latest contests, promotions, and events for 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Log on to thezone1150.com.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage.
The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Howdy's Pizza, BCS Tire Pros, Cotton and Oak Home and Style, Cilantro Mexican Grill, and more. Visit AggieLandBigDeals.com to save big. AggieLandBigDeals.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Keyshawn Davis joining us. I got to start with the question, how'd you get the name Keyshawn?
I was actually named after Keyshawn Johnson. My whole family thought I was going to be this
football player. My mother and them used to watch Keyshawn Johnson all the time, and they loved how he played. They loved the type of person he was.
Thank your parents, because they got it right. Go in that ring with that swag. Let them know.
I got you, Keyshawn.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
Obi said yes, some good music now. It's your jam?
I like the Beatles. It's still wouldn't be number one on my list, but it'd definitely be on my list.
Yesterday at church, they I go to Grace in Creekside. I've been going there the last couple months, and the pastor brought up a picture of Paul McCartney, I guess, flying in regular class on a flight, and somebody was taking pictures of him from behind the scenes. Like, I can't believe Paul McCartney is not in first class hanging with us. So even the great Paul McCartney is flying like the rest of us sometimes. Sometimes you just, you got a buddy pass, you just get on the flight wherever you can.
I was on a Southwest flight one time, and Jawan Howard was on the flight.
Yeah.
And I was telling some people that it was from Dallas to Houston. Jawan Howard was on the flight. Nobody would believe me. I'm like, is it so unbelievable? Oh, he wouldn't fly Southwest. Well, if you just need to get from point A to point B.
Why not? Yeah.
Just because I have a lot of money doesn't mean I have to always spend a lot.
Agree with you. By the way, OB, you're doing an extended go hour. We're going to do the 9 o'clock segment and talk some hoops.
I'm available for whatever's needed.
I just do the whole show. I'll just go home.
All right.
I'll just go home. Let's play a little agree or disagree. It is TexAgs Radio, by the way, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, do you agree or disagree? A&M will not name a defensive coordinator by signing day, the early signing day.
I guess I agree with that. I mean, I haven't heard anybody, and it's just 2 days away.
Right.
So unless they really feel like they've already got the guy, I would probably disagree with that.
Again, reading between the lines of what Bronny, Howell, Billy have been reporting from the recruits, I don't think they have to fast forward and go super fast right now. I feel like the guys that are all in are all in. That's the feel I'm getting.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way if they haven't decommitted now.
Yep. Agree or disagree? A&M will have the number one recruiting class when it's all said and done. I guess we got to go through the second signing period, but do you think they'll have the number one class?
I think I agree with that. Just because I look at the guys, I have to admit I look at the 24/7 rankings a lot, and I see the guys that they have like a projected to A&M, and I'm thinking, well, if you get those guys that are projected to A&M, you have to be the number one. Like not Kendrick, Harold Perkins.
Harold Perkins, yeah.
If he, they have him like the number 5 player in the country. Well, if you add that to what you've already got.
If I remember correctly, though, I think Harold's one of those they expect to wait till
right.
Yeah.
And I think the kid from Philadelphia
N.I.
White is close.
Yep.
The big offensive lineman, Cameron. Goodness, it's early this morning. The big. Come on, Dalton, help me.
Which one are we talking about?
He's a big offensive.
Cam Dewberry.
Yeah, Dewberry.
Cam Dewberry. Yep.
That's another guy that's projected. So if you get the guys that are projected to you,
get just 2/3 of those guys, half those guys.
One thing I've noticed, we have all noticed, is Jimbo Fisher closes fast.
That he does. Here's another one for you, and this one you may disagree. Haynes King will play in the bowl game.
I disagree.
By the way, let me just make a statement. I'm not saying I really believe these statements. These are conversations points.
I disagree. I think Haynes, again, he's probably healthy enough to, but the feeling probably is Jimbo Fisher even said that he wasn't going to play. But let's say anything happened to Calzada. Let's see Calzada's walking across the yard. He steps on a rake. The handle comes up, hits him between the eyes, and he gets a concussion, can't play.
He's got to go to Cap Rock in that situation.
Right. If that happens, I think they go with Blake Boast.
Well, this next one could affect the way I think about everything. The opt-outs, right? So the statement is A&M's defense will be just fine with all these opt-outs. But if people continue to opt out, I don't know if it's worth Haynes King playing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Ken Green has not said yet, right? Last I heard,
he has not said.
So if the line is decimated, if the defense, then I don't know if it's worth Haynes King, who's coming back from injury, to speed up his playing date. Although I want to see it just from a fan perspective, just to kind of get that vibe entering the offseason.
Well, let's see who on defense is already. DeMarvin Leal's out. Leon O'Neal's out.
Is it PV was the other one, I think?
Was it PV? Okay.
Yeah.
If Michael Clemens and Tyree Johnson play, you're not as good at end, but you're still good enough. I think you can absorb PV by just letting Isaiah Rakes and McKinley Jackson go, Shamar Turner. I think you're good there. Leon is a heart and soul type of guy, but I don't know who would replace him, but I'm sure with the way they've recruited, Gilbert has played quite a bit this year. So you won't be as good defensively, but I think you'll still be pretty good.
A-Chain will have 200-plus rushing yards against Wake. A big number.
It's a huge number. I'll disagree just because a 200-yard game against anybody is just can't be taken for granted.
This is me thinking he'll be the guy. They're not splitting with Isaiah.
But then he'll probably split with LJ.
LJ,
I think he's over 100, maybe way over 100. I'll just be conservative and say disagree because 200 is such a big number.
I'll go through these last two quickly. LSU will have a terrible first year under Brian Kelly.
I agree.
And the last one, Quinn Ewers will not live up to the hype.
I don't know how anybody could live up to the hype, but I'd probably agree.
All right, we'll do another segment with OB. I want to get some basketball in with him. Also, just a programming update. We're going to have Tom Hart with us at 9:35, Buzz Williams joining us at 10:35, and the great Billy Lucci will be with us for most of the 10 o'clock hour. It's going to be a loaded show. Do want to get some hoops in with OB and talk some things over with Tom Hart. There was a lot of stuff that happened with coaches and losing their temper this weekend in college basketball. Not sure if you saw some of that. We'll discuss that and a little bit more. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggie Land is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV, or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC, and you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Louis Bellina Show, TexAgs Radio, and Chip Howard Sports Talk, the Zone family. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
'Tis the season.
The Zone.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The arrest of a Calvert man who was publicized by Brazos County Crime Stoppers last week was the result of multiple Bryan and College Station police officers and Brazos County Sheriff's deputies staking out the College Station home of the fugitive's girlfriend. According to the Bryan Police arrest report, after 28-year-old Ralph Ballard came out of the girlfriend's apartment, he got into a car, then got out and started running. He was eventually found laying on a couch on a back porch of another home. Ballard is being held on bonds totaling $250,000 on charges of evading arrest and a warrant accusing him of a felony theft that took place 2 months ago. Texas A&M's chief operating officer says they'll continue to examine pandemic protocols and refine them as needed.
Greg Hartman's update on the eve of fall semester final states there's a possibility Aggie employees and students may be required to undergo pandemic testing before returning to campus after the holidays. Hartman also stated it is too early to make that decision. University communities directed to check their email for any notices regarding pandemic safety measures. Hartman also announced that A&M has paused action related to implementing the federal vaccine mandate order. Officials will wait for the courts to decide the legality of the president's mandate to federal contractors, which includes A&M and the A&M system. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
Revenue from the sale of lots in the College Station City Cemetery was supposed to cover the cost of a new building. When the City Council approved a $2.1 million construction contract at its last meeting, that included a $395,000 loan from the city's general fund.
I want to be real clear that we don't forecast as the rates are set now that we would be able to pay it back. You would be putting this out of the general fund to pay for it.
City Manager Brian Woods, who says cemetery lot fees are currently below market rates, reminded the council they'll have their annual review of fees next month. For more news, go to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber in The Zone.
The end of the tax year is near, so if you need maintenance or replacement parts for your construction equipment, WPI has you covered. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractor is your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine weekday mornings 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor here on The Zone.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M safety Leon O'Neal has announced he will skip the upcoming Gator Bowl to prepare for the NFL Draft. His departure means the Aggies will now likely be without 3 defensive starters against Wake Forest. They'll also be without defensive coordinator Mike Elko, who has left to become the head man at Duke. Aggie men's basketball was done in by TCU Saturday, 68-64. With the loss, the guys fall to 7-2 on the year. By the way, tomorrow's game against Tulane has been canceled after the Green Wave experienced an outbreak of COVID-19 cases. 18th-ranked Aggie women's basketball couldn't get past TCU yesterday, 87-75. The ladies are now 9-2 on the season. To get Coach Gary Blair's take, as well as Buzz Williams for the guys, tune into the coaches' radio shows tonight from 6 to 8 on 1620, 94.5 WTAW. Time for a look at the SEC, brought to you by T-Mobile. The South Carolina women downed Maryland yesterday, while Kentucky fell to Louisville. Tennessee got the better of Georgia State. LSU trounced Texas Southern. Florida bested Florida State, and Mizzou topped Alabama A&M. Mississippi State defeated UT Martin, and Arkansas steamrolled Little Rock. And that's been your SEC Sneak Peek, brought to you by T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Let the Louis Bellina Show and T-Mobile make this the greatest bowl season ever. You can hear the Aggies beat the hell out of Wake Forest on Friday, December 31st, 10 a.m., right here on The Zone, thanks to T-Mobile. You can also hear the college football playoffs, the semifinals, the national championship game, right here on The Zone, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. Spend your bowl season right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Yeah, I like this song too.
John, are you still standing? Not at the moment.
No, we're sitting.
Yeah.
We're seated, as they say. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, hour number 2, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, kind enough to stick around with us a little bit because we never got into some basketball discussion. He went to Toyota Center It was not a great showing by the Aggies. A game that they came back there in the second half. We found out earlier, I think maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was this morning. Can't remember when I saw the news. But their game against Tulane has been canceled because of COVID over there on that side. So right now they'll have more breaks before their next game. So let's get into it with OB. You were there at Toyota Center. You're really impressed with the hospitality at the Toyota Center, weren't you?
Yeah, they did the bare minimum, that's for sure. It was not the easiest game to cover, but we got it done, and no one cares about the difficulties that we have doing our job, and I understand that. What they care about is how the team performed, and unfortunately the team did not perform well, especially in the first half. It was like they reverted back to all the problems they'd had in last year when they couldn't make free throws. I think they were 8 of 18 at the free throw line, and one of them they made, they were trying to miss. So I said they couldn't even miss right.
Right.
They got out rebounded terribly on the offensive
all
boards.
Game, yeah.
The offensive boards, which they knew was going to be a key. They did a lot better in the second half, but still, that was a big factor. Were erratic from the 3-point line, a lot of turnovers. All the things that they can't do to win, they did.
Hey, you mentioned, and I'll just do this quickly about the staff. I remember my days from working with the Rockets and whatnot. A lot of times these games are so out of sight, out of mind because it's like an extra work day that like the main staff is like, we're going to let the intern do this, and then the lowest person on the totem pole do it, and just because it's an NBA schedule. It's very busy.
I can understand that.
But I remember being that guy having, all right, I got to go do this game, and I get to be the big dog. As for,
I would hope that they would just discontinue scheduling in those kind of places. I'm sure they won't. It was very lackluster last year up at Dickey's Arena in TCU.
Yeah,
they don't want you there. Wish you weren't there, but yeah, we're having to work, so put in bare minimum effort.
I wonder, because not that we've played at high level of basketball, but when you play in that kind of atmosphere, though, it just feels different shooting a basketball in that kind of place. I wonder, and both teams have to deal with it, but I'm just curious, when you're already a team that struggles shooting the ball, and I guess their problems went way deeper than that, though, on Saturday night.
Yeah, their biggest issue was turnovers and giving up offensive rebounds.
Give up a lot.
I don't know how many second chance points that TCU had, because quite frankly, we didn't have the stuff there to get that kind of stuff, information throughout the game. But they got a lot of second chance points, a lot of them, and a lot of points off turnovers. And A&M understands that to be successful, they're going to have to limit second shots and take care of the basketball. And they didn't do it. They did both of them much better in the second half, and they were down 10 at halftime, came back, actually got the lead, had the lead with about 6 minutes to go, and just couldn't hold it. TCU hit a couple of threes, and A&M just couldn't answer.
One thing I like about this team and one thing I don't like about this team is the same thing. I don't know where they're going to get their buckets from. You don't know, because there isn't a go-to guy, at least yet, right? Which is cool, because a lot of people are contributing, and you never know where that bucket's going to come from. But at the end of a game, who's going to be that alpha that says, give me the rock,
right?
Let me go to the hole?
Yeah, I kind of think it should be Tyrese Radford, but he's not the leading scorer for the Aggies.
It was Marcus Williams this past weekend, right?
Yeah, Marcus Williams he played really well, especially in the second half. But they have 4 guys that are averaging right around 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got 4 guys that are capable of having really strong games, and that's not a bad thing. You like balance, but I'm with you. You do like to have balance, but if you had the one guy that that you can lean on when it matters. A&M. It's been a problem, and I think it irritates Buzz that I've brought it up so much, but you wish that A&M had that one guy that when he's wide open, I'm not talking about having to make a shot, create. I'm talking about when he's like in the corner at a 3 and there's nobody around him, and that 2 or 3 times a game, when there's you just get the ball and there's nobody there that you just know he's going to make it.
All right.
Or you're shocked if he doesn't. And A&M had 2 or 3 of those opportunities, and they didn't make them. And that's when you go, gosh, the really good teams, have that guy that you leave him open like that. You're going to pay for it.
Is it fair to say though that this is who they are, right? Like, I am not shocked by their record or the games that they've lost. I think they've played a little bit better than I expected when they've won. But I think this past weekend is a reflection of a team that things have to go well, right? You've got to win the turnover battle, and you've got to compete more on those rebounds.
Yeah, I think, and they're, I don't want to call them soft. They're, with the exception of one guy, they're pretty much undersized inside. I don't know if you can call a 6'8" guy undersized, but they got Javonte Brown, who's 7-footer, but they didn't play him a lot in the second half. I think they're just scrappy. They look for their guards to rebound a lot. I think I'm surprised that they lost, first of all. I thought they'd beat TCU. I really did. And I think if they played TCU 10 times, they'd probably beat them 7, maybe 8. I think they're more talented than TCU. I think they're deeper without a doubt. But they did not play well. And maybe they'll be able to use this game as a reminder. Look, if we do this or don't do this, we're going to lose. If A&M had made 60% of their free throws, they still would have won the game.
They cannot hit free throws.
As bad as they played, especially in the first half, but overall it was a good. But still, if you could have made 60% of your free throws, you win the game.
Yeah, they can't. Again, you're not going to win games where you get out rebounded, you turn the ball over more, and you miss your free throws. And yet they had a chance.
Yeah,
they had a lead with 6 minutes left.
6 minutes to go, they had a lead, and they were down. I think one. Once they were trying to tie. I don't have my notes with me, but they were trying to tie, and
this was back-to-back threes.
No, this was later at the back. They're trying, but they got it back to like 66, 64, and I think it might have been Radford, but it might not. Goes in for the layup, a little bit too hard, comes off the rim. Henry Coleman comes in to tip it in, tips it too hard.
Yeah,
and they get that's how close you were to tying it up, despite playing a poor game overall.
How old did you feel, and not because your birthday was last week, but seeing Charles O'Bannon out there, and I know you've probably seen him before, but just like for me, it was just brought me back to 25 years ago, the O'Bannon brothers.
Yeah, I was asking not Dalton, Logan. I said, "Is this guy like a son of?"
He's Charles' son, right?
Is he? I don't know.
Or Ed's son. He's related. That I know.
So, yeah, and you know what? He played like him. At least in that game.
He had a couple of stints. So I was like, this dude is unstoppable.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And there's nothing there from TCU or anything that would give you that I could have looked it up. I guess I could have gone online, but the Wi-Fi in the Toyota Center was suspect among everything else. So I really never felt like I had the opportunity to go check that out. But I was curious if he was related to them.
So 11 days off, and Buzz said that did not cause rust. Rebounding is not a rust thing. Turnovers it could be a rust thing, but now they're gonna have a little bit longer of a break before their next game because of the game canceled. So in a way, I think this works out well for what Buzz is trying to do because a new team, as new as they are, yes, you want to get some games under your belt, especially winnable games, but gives you more time to go back to the lab.
Yeah, and they're remaining opponents before SEC play are teams they should beat. I know Oregon State, I don't know what they did this weekend, but they were 1-8. Tulane might have been 1-8. I think they got a 3-5 Northeastern.
They got Oregon State on the road.
They were 1-8. I don't know what they are now.
Northwestern State.
I think they might have been 3-5 last I looked.
Central Arkansas.
And they might have been 1-8.
And then you've got SEC play starting off on the road against Georgia.
Yeah. So A&M needs to be that pesky team that just won't go away. And if they take care of the basketball and do a little bit better job at the foul line and on offensive rebounds might be an issue for them all year, giving them up. But if you can minimize that, and definitely got to cut your turnovers. You can't. They're not going to win with 18 turnovers.
No, you're not going to win. And I think in the first half it was atrocious, if I remember correctly.
Was.
But what I like about this team is that they're going to be in most games because of the way they do play defense, the way they do pressure.
Defense. They play good defense. They're deep, and they may not have a star yet, but they have a lot of good basketball players that play hard.
Yeah,
and they play defense, and they've got some guys offensively who are capable of getting hot.
Yep,
they just didn't.
And here I'll read this text message before I move on. PG Ag, I'll let Anna Rosa read it. Go ahead, Anna Rosa.
He just says rebounds and turnovers are the Ags' biggest issues.
Mm-hmm. And they've been the issue. They have been. You can't turn the ball over. And free throws. I feel like free throws has been a topic every game.
Yeah, and I don't get that. I think they've got guys that are better free throw shooters than they're showing. And I think the 11-day layoff I think they did have some rest. I called it actually corrosion. It was worse than rust, but I think that was a factor. And I applaud both him, Coach Williams, and Marcus Williams, I think it was. And they didn't want to use that as an excuse. And I like a team that won't use excuses, but sometimes you just have to look at things and say, you don't play for 11 days. You've been playing pretty well, and then you play like that. You have to at least consider the possibility that was a factor.
So I know you're not a big Kelvin Sampson guy. Did you see?
No, I like Kelvin.
Oh, you are? Did you see what happened this past weekend?
I know they were. I didn't see the end. I know they were in a heck of a game with Alabama, and then I know there was a guy that cleaned up the bench area, and everybody was impressed with that.
Well, so there was I guess in the University of Houston's mind, an obvious goaltend that would have tied the game.
Okay.
They didn't call it. Last second, right? Kelvin went bonkers and ran and tried to stop the referees from leaving the floor, got in front of him. I believe he touched him, if I remember correctly. Kellen, his son, who's eventually supposed to be the head coach, is kicking things, throwing things. The players, most of the University of Houston players are just upset, and they make a huge mess. So the video you saw was the aftermath of the young man who came and cleaned it up on the university. But I haven't seen Kelvin like that, and you should check out at some point the video of it. I thought it was a goaltend.
Was it egregious?
I don't know if it was egregious.
Okay.
That's the thing. And again, you're taking on, I believe Alabama's undefeated and awesome. They're really good.
Was the game in Tuscaloosa?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There you go. It extends to basketball season as well.
Yeah, but they're good. That team is legit good. But I have not seen Kelvin respond like that. And, I'm forgetting his name right now, the Alabama head coach.
Oates.
Oh, yeah. Oates was trying to shake Kelvin's hand, and you see him shaking the hand of the air. Where is this guy? Looking for Kelvin, who had run across the floor to stop the officials touching them. And that wasn't the only coach who lost his mind. Eric Musselman.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what it was about, but I saw the end of the highlight.
Well, he got tossed, obviously. Oklahoma just took it to them, took it to Arkansas. And he lost his temper, too. So a couple coaches losing their tempers, going viral on the same weekend.
I like to watch basketball coaches when they get upset. And football coaches, it's fun, but, there's so much space between them and the official that they're yelling at. And but basketball, when the basketball coaches get upset, it really is it's a spectacle. I enjoy it.
Call me old school. I know it's not done like it used to be, especially in basketball. But I like shaking hands after games, regardless of the bad blood, especially at the end of a series. Coaches shake. I like that. I don't like. You remember when LeBron famously walked away from the Celtics, and I think the Celtics did the same thing to him. A year later or whatever. I like when people show respect and class, regardless. After.
Did you see the video of the kid up in Iowa after a high school basketball game and with all the teams that they're shaking hands?
I didn't see this.
And it's about there's a kid looks like he's probably about 6'6", and then there's a kid who looks like he's about 6'1", and they're shaking hands. And the 6'1" kid's like the fifth guy in his line. The tall kid's the first guy in his line. And when they get to when the tall kid and the kid that's about 6 feet get together, the tall kid puts out his hand. The short kid punches him in the stomach.
What?
And then And then when he, doubles over, he punches him in the face, knocks him out. And then you see everybody jump in on it. And
oh, I got to see this.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
They had a big fight.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't a fight. It was 2 sucker punches and everybody jumping in to break it up. But so I guess that young man won't be playing basketball anymore.
I think he's going to have some issues. Hey, OB, thank you so much for joining us here for an extended Go Hour here. We call it the Mo Hour. Mo OB. All right, right now, talk about Chance McClain and Heritage Films, the documentary films about you, your family, your uncle, everybody, whoever you want it to be about yourself. Right now, you're at work thinking, it would be kind of cool to give that to my pops. Love for him to tell his story so our grandkids and their grandkids and everybody's grandkids kind of knows the story of our family. Do it for your mom. Do it for your dad. Do it for your uncle, your grandmother. Chance does amazing work. He's done Broadway musicals. He's done movies that have been nominated for awards. He's gone to red carpet shows, started a radio station. Good old boy who cares about his family and cares about our history, and that's why he picked the Michael Berry Show and TexAgs Radio to advertise on. He's not advertising other places. These are the 2 places he advertises on because he knows Aggies care about their history, and they certainly do. And we care about everything that's happened in our lives, right? So why not share that story and pass it down to your kids and their kids and their kids? It's about an 8 to 10 week process. He'll come, he'll light the house, he'll do the interviews, and 2 months later, you're going to have yourself a documentary film that you can see on Netflix. You can see on the Biography channel. Such great work. YourHeritageFilm.com is the website. YourHeritageFilm.com. Call them up at 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
Listen in to the Louis Bellina Show, weekdays from 11 to 2 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career I can be proud of and supporting my family.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
I'm a veteran. My victory was going from homeless to home.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran, and my victory was finishing my education.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support for victories great and small.
My victory was proving that disability is not a limitation.
My victory was getting my service dog a new best friend.
We help more than 1 million veterans every year as they face and conquer their challenges.
My victory is being able to be there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Howdy's Pizza, BCS Tire Pros, Cotton and Oak Home and Style, Cilantro Mexican Grill, and more. Visit AggieLandBigDeals.com to save big. AggieLandBigDeals.com.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and services Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Blazers, Global Electric Cars, Brutus, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone.
All we want from this bowl season is one more win.
It is up, and the fight Texas Aggies take down the top-ranked Tide 41-38.
From IAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the Aggies versus the Demon Deacons. It's the Gator Bowl. Tune in New Year's Eve on the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com. Or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A couple days away from signing day, and it is cracking on TexAgs forums out there, especially on the premium side. You got to go check it out. We've had some wonderful updates from Bronny and from Jason Howell and from Lucci, of course. So looking forward to continuing that conversation. And as we get closer to the number one signing class out there, we do have a question for everybody to chime in on if you want to be a part of the discussion. It is, who do you want to see as A&M's new defensive coordinator? A lot of names out there. I'm trying to gauge the listeners' thinking right now. Whoever they get, they're going to get a dynamite guy. That's a fact. The number to do that is the A&B text line 979-693-1150. Or you can call us on the BCSI hotline 979-693-1150. All guests and callers, join us on that BCSI hotline. You no longer have to drive to Houston or Dallas or Austin to get major eye surgery such as cataract or glaucoma issues. Dr. K will take care of you right here in the BCS, top level, the Physician Center. You can check it out at mybcsi.com. Great stuff, 979-701-2020. Let's go to the news and the Social Center with Anna Rosa Peterson.
All right, and I'll read some text messages on our topic, but I do want to read something from John in Cyprus, who brings it back to basketball. He says, horrible example by Sampson. Buzz gets mad but would never do that. That makes players think they can do it as well. Wasn't that egregious?
Well, a couple things. I like Kelvin Sampson a lot, so my opinion is colored by history covering him when he was an assistant coach with the Rockets and his time with the University of Houston. I find him to be an upstanding guy who made a mistake, and he apologized for it. And he apologized to Greg Byrne, the athletic director. He apologized to Oates as well. So from that perspective, I think we all make mistakes. And yeah, he shouldn't have done what he did. And his son was way worse. And I agree, it was not as egregious as it looked. But in the heat of a moment, top 10 showdown, you're thinking to yourself, you know, why are you being robbed of this moment? It's a goaltend. So whatever. Is it a bad example? Yeah, it was a bad example. But I also think bad examples are the best teachable moments. There have been times I have lost my cool with my children and maybe barked at them a little bit more than I wanted to. And I don't like those situations. I'm embarrassed by them, but I love talking to them and explaining, your dad made a mistake here, and this is how we're going to fix things. And I think that's another example. Look, I know people hold some things against Kelvin Sampson for his time at Indiana and Oklahoma. I get that. I can only base it on my history covering him, and he was upstanding guy, and that was not a good look, but he's moved on from that. And then Musselman, like, I know nothing about Musselman other than, you know, what he's done in the NBA and college basketball, but I don't have like a relationship with him at all. But all that said, I thought that was way worse, but I understand at the same time. And I really liked, I wish I remember the kid's name on the University of Houston who came and picked up the trash on the side that the players had left. It was very cool to see that. Anna Rosa?
All right, we have an anonymous texter who says, Derek Mason is who I want, and congratulations to Coach Elko. Elko wanted to run his own program. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether you like the job he chose, it doesn't matter, because he did. Apparently, he loves North Carolina. In life, you get to do what you want to do in the location you love. Then you are a success.
I think it's been gravy with Coach Elko after the first year. I mean, people were surprised he lasted as long as he did. Right? Look, sometimes you evaluate, like, what if he has a best friend there? I don't know. Like, I don't know Mike like that. Like, he's got his reasons, and congratulations to him. He's going to be a head coach, right? He's going to have a tough schedule, but he's going to be a head coach, and he's going to live in the part of the world he wants to live in. Congratulations to him for that. He left his program in a great spot, and whoever takes over will have a great platform to begin with. What else, Anna Rosa?
All right, Jeff Tipton in College Station says, Jeremy Pruitt if he has no NCAA baggage. Better resume than Mason, coaches DB, and he hasn't been a DC for Jimbo before.
Jeremy Pruitt's a very interesting name. I know that there's some people worried about what could come down. You don't want to have a coach having issues from NCAA violations and whatnot, but a very interesting name with a relationship with Jimbo, who can coach, flat out coach, absolutely. We'll get one more in there from Kat in Cypress, Ana Rosa.
All right, Kat says, Gary Patterson gets my vote as our next defensive coordinator.
I don't want that to be my vote. In fact, it's not my vote. Now, if it's Jimbo's vote, I'll buy in. That's how I look at it. I'm not a huge Gary Patterson fan, but I don't want to say something and then 2 weeks later be like, oh, that's our coach? Here, coach, here's a soundbite from David Nuno. I don't know. It hasn't been Gary's best few years. I'll say that. And yes, John Cypress, Jamal Shed was the kid doing the right thing. Absolutely doing the right thing. Absolutely doing the right thing. It was just cool stuff. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we're going to talk to Tom Hart, move up our hits with him moving forward from the SEC Network, get his thoughts on all things happening in college football. And, of course, he is doing all the games in college basketball. Get his thoughts on that as well. Right now, a moment for Dr. Troy Elms and Dr. Jeremy Stewart at Elms Orthodontics on the Bypass in College Station. We drive by it all the time on our way to Veterans, on our way to exiting university. It's just right there when we're coming from South College Station on the right-hand side. Beautiful building out there. Our kids are going there now because we moved to town and we needed a place to take over when it comes to our orthodontist needs. And they're the best. Dr. Elms has been doing it forever. Class of 86, mainstay in the community, 16-time Best of the Brazos winner, platinum-level Invisalign provider. You've got Dr. Jeremy Stewart. They just do great work together. 1-2 punch that brings it every week. Dr. Stewart graduated top 6% of his doctor class there at dental surgery. He is awesome, and they are a great group together. And if you're looking to get Invisalign, braces, your kids are at that stage where they need to start considering it, I'd highly recommend getting a free consultation today. Call them up at 979-693-6300 or go visit them at 1501 Emerald Parkway in College Station. It is drelms.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Consider becoming a CASA volunteer to look out for a child and give them and their family a better chance at a brighter future and the happy holiday season they deserve. The next volunteer training session is scheduled for January. Learn more at vfcbrazos.org. Come check out Merry and Bright Maroon and White at the Gardens at Texas A&M this month. The holiday light display is free and open to the public. Deck the Walls is a holiday fundraiser benefiting the Habitat BCS Restore in Bryan. Details are online at habitatbcs.org. Find out more about current and upcoming events and exhibitions at the University Art Galleries in the MSC. Go online to uart.tamu.edu. You can hear the college football semifinals, Alabama versus Cincinnati, and Georgia takes on Michigan. New Year's Eve, starting at 2:30 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field, and now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at energyogre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's our 12 Deals of Christmas going on right now at your local Big Deal store. Hi, Jenny here, and I've been busy picking out the very best deals for you this holiday season. Each day is a different offer, and we have limited quantities, so run to your computer or smartphone and grab it quick.
Today's big deal is 50% off gift certificates from Dirt Road Rustics Furniture and Home Decor. Go to AggielandBigDeals.com and grab that deal.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Bowl game preview brought to you by T-Mobile. Texas A&M senior safety Leon O'Neal has announced he will skip the Gator Bowl to prepare for the NFL Draft. O'Neal's decision likely means the Aggies will be without 3 defensive starters as he joins lineman Jaden Peavy and DeMarvin Leal. Now, when it comes to players opting out, Coach Jimbo Fisher says it's next man up.
Well, I mean, you lose a great player, but, that's part of the world we live in today. And the guy's got a chance to be a first-round draft pick and most likely will, so that definitely has a big bearing on it and what we do. But we have a lot of other players, and we've played with injuries and guys out here and there all the time, and that's something you do. And just like an injury, you have to treat it just like an injury, and you adapt. And we have some other great players and great ends that we think that can really play, and they're going to have to.
The Aggies will also have to take on Wake Forest without defense coordinator Mike Elko, who is left to take the head job at Duke. I'm Zach Taylor, and that's been your Aggie Bowl game preview, brought to you by T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC.
This is The Zone, Aggieland's all-sports station.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, got some college hoops to talk about, some college basketball, I just said that, college football to get into. Let's do that with Tom Hart, SEC Network and ESPN, our good buddy who joins us here on Mondays. Good morning to you, Tom.
What's up? How we doing?
I like that XFL jacket, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Decided to do a little throwback here today. Rest in peace. I mean, I think it's coming back, but we'll see.
They had a meeting that it was coming back, and, I was in Houston covering the, what are they called, though? Not the Roughnecks. Was that the name? I can't remember.
Rough Riders.
Rough Rider. No.
Yeah. No?
I covered them. They were great. June Jones. I can't remember the freaking name.
It was the Roughnecks. What was
Roughnecks. Roughnecks.
Was it Roughnecks?
Yeah, it was the Roughnecks. All right. I had a moment. I had a senior moment there, Tom. I apologize for it. But what's going on, man? How you been?
I've been good. And by the way, we're still watching XFL quarterbacks get it done. The guy with the Washington football team played in the XFL. There's a couple guys who have now made that move.
That is right.
I'm good. We had great college basketball weekend. I happened to be at Kansas, where the Jayhawks had a beatdown of Missouri, and then turned it into a huge sports weekend, and went to the Chiefs game yesterday and saw them dismantle the Raiders. So I feel like we're, especially those of us, right? Like you and I, very similar. Like we come off the college football high, and you feel like, okay, there's just going to be a lull before bowl games and playoffs start. But then we jump right into like college hoops kind of hits its stride now, and the NFL, it dominates anyway, but it really takes over everything. So it's still a good time, man. There's no slowdown in the sports calendar.
Yeah, I had kind of fallen out when it came to the NFL. I've covered it for so many years and traveling with the Texans, and this year I haven't watched any NFL until yesterday, really. Like I think I had watched 5 minutes of the NFL. And then yesterday I had it on all day. It was great to see. Let's start off with Mike Elko. Your thoughts on on taking that Duke job?
It was interesting. Mike has been great with us since he got to A&M, and just really transparent about opportunities and what he was trying to accomplish at A&M. If I remember correctly, after his first year, he interviewed for the Temple job, and I think he took himself out of it. Whether or not it was coming to him, I don't know. I don't have any clarity on that. But on the sideline at LSU, we're talking about the LSU coaching situation and all this stuff that was going on. And I said, man, I don't have a good feel for how you guys live your life, right? Because you're preparing for this huge game, which is a rivalry game. You're trying to get your guys ready. I'm sorry, my dog is all over the place this morning. I said, but at the same time, your future or people like you, you're not supposed to be on the couch. This is not supposed to be happening right now.
Let it play out. I like it.
It's creepy, but it works. I said, I guess I have compassion and understanding for trying to get ready for what is the biggest game for you. And yet your future hangs in the balance with these other decision makers and where you're going to be next week, next year. And we weren't even talking specifically about him, but I asked him how he balances all that. And he said, really what you have to do is you can only focus on what's in front of you. So yeah, there might be a phone call in the car with an agent saying, hey, here's who I'm talking to. What's your gut about this or that or the other? And we didn't get into specifics, and I didn't know Duke would be an option for him, but I think it's a great job for him. And I think, especially with this time at Wake and being familiar with smaller programs and Notre Dame and the ACC, I think he could do a fantastic job there. And I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I am too. Great guy, and eventually he deserves his chance to be a head coach, and he got it in a part of the country that he wanted to be at. So from an A&M perspective, it's big shoes to fill, right? You've got Mike Elko leaving, and he had one of the top defenses in the country. But the feeling around here is they're going to get whoever they want. And I don't know who they want, but they're going to get a good coach.
Yeah, and the coaching calendar, so to speak, is – this is the timing's okay, right? It's not. It doesn't happen too late that it puts you in a tough spot. It's interesting. I haven't sat down and broken them all down and put together a list of defensively. This is ridiculous. What's going on right? Not at all distracting, but yeah, Jimbo's going to get whoever he wants, and he's offensive minded enough. And I've been in enough A&M practices that. To hire a guy at this pay rate and what the expectations are, mostly defensive coordinators are type A guys at this level who say, yeah, just let me do my job. All right. And Jimbo is generally, from my observation, hands off on the defensive end, right? I mean, he's with the quarterback's entire practice and he's with the offensive side, and you're going to do what he wants to get done during practice, but he lets the defense do what they want to do. And I think that's definitely appealing. I mean, it's like a dog licking your ear. I mean, it's something that everybody wants to sign up for. So yeah, he'll have his pick, and I guess it's got to happen soon with signing day, right? I mean, they got to be on top of it.
Yeah, the feel I'm getting, and look, I'm not as close to that part of it as Billy would be, but I don't know if they're going to have a coach by signing day but right now it feels like the recruits and the commits that are out there are buying into the Jimbo culture, not necessarily just Mike Elko, and that's a great job done by Jimbo and the staff.
Yeah. I guess my question is, because Mike was a great recruiter too, is a great recruiter. Were their kids committed to the idea of playing defense for Mike Elko, right? And with the kind of signing class that A&M has already committed, no, we're not going to chew on my hat. The biggest question the kids ask is, and maybe they don't ask this directly, or maybe their parents do, but what they're thinking if you're a top recruit is, can this guy get me to Sunday? Mike Elko obviously can do that, and whoever A&M brings in likely is going to be a very similar caliber.
100% agree there. Tom Hart, SEC Network on the BCSI hotline. So several opt-outs so far on A&M's defense. And a little worried, right, for this game against Wake, because Wake can put up some points, but it looks like DeMarvin Leal will probably not play. That was according to Jimbo the other day. Leon O'Neal, Jaden Peavy. There could be more. I haven't heard many from the Wake Forest side. I'm still waiting for Sam Hartman to say, you know what, I don't need to play in this game, guys. I'm good. But it could be an interesting game there against Wake if guys continue to opt out, Tom.
Well, I'm really curious, and it's funny you bring up Wake's quarterback in this scenario. If more of these guys on A&M's defensive line opt out, does he say, hey, you know what? I'm cool with playing in this game.
Right.
I mean, he could use every platform that he can get. And it's a very unique offense that they run with the timing of it, the mesh point that they hold, the play action, the RPOs that they run. I don't know what their offense would look like with his backup. So that's I think is the number one question, but also what's the motivation to play in this game, and what are you trying to prove as you look to get to the next level? So that's a very interesting question. I think it's disappointing from an A&M perspective to have guys opt out. I don't like that as a whole, but I understand as guys say, you know what, listen, this isn't a national championship. This isn't a national semifinal. I've got my individual professional goals. And for some of these guys, like I said earlier, that's why they came to A&M, because they could get there. And so I've got to get ready, and I've got to protect myself and get ready. And I don't blame them, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Talking to Tom Hart here on the BCSI hotline. Tom, I do want to turn our attention a moment to Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, and Harbaugh getting the coach of the year, just the job he's done this year and how the narrative has changed around his name.
Well, it started last year when they redid his contract, and, he is a Michigan man, and he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to get fired. I understood that they were underperforming, but I think mostly he understood that he had to change his staff. And that is really hard for established coaches to accept, right? That's a staff that they put together, usually people that they like. And so that was the difference, is they got so much younger to have a successful year. Yeah, I mean, he's deserving, and that Ohio State game could be a turning point for them. Remember, like, he had them in the top 10 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, that big Ohio State game where it was decided by an inch on the spot of a football. And that seemed to define that program for half a century. You couldn't win the big game. And then they came out and they took care of business. So listen, good for him, very deserving. I always wonder, though, Coach of the Year to me usually turns out to be the guy who performed the best against the lowest expectations, right? I guess you could be critical of Kirby with his handling of the quarterback situation. That's obviously going to be a big storyline going into the playoff based on what happened in the SEC championship game. But head coaches deserve credit for the recruiting classes they bring in. And so if you judge a coach based on what he's judged by his athletic director and the biggest donors, did you build a program that can win at an elite level? And Kirby Smart did all of that. So for me, at least until the SEC championship game, I was thinking, well, how could you hold his recruiting class and the great talent that they have there against him for finishing the regular season undefeated? That's a big part of a coach's job.
Yep, absolutely. Tom, what about this transfer portal? Auburn getting hit. Bo Nix is leaving. Tank Bigsley is leaving. Beyond that, Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. Just a lot of big names, and we're seeing it different than we've ever seen it before.
Well, the Auburn question is, there's a lot of time will tell, but we've got to figure out some answers here. I mean, the national writers who know more about this than I do from a national perspective continually list Harsin as a candidate at other jobs. He has a job. He has a contract. There's all sorts of questions and smoke about his vaccination status and what the state of Alabama is doing and if that would impact him like it did at Washington State. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not on the inside of any of that, but I've asked Auburn guys, why do we keep seeing his name for other jobs when he has a job right now? To me, that would be smoke. And maybe if he's not going to be there next year, man, Auburn had a major whiff on this hire in the biggest of ways when they replaced Gus Malzahn to try and take a step up. This would be a huge step back for them. And if you're getting I'm not as worried about Bo Nix, even though he's an Auburn guy. It was obvious with that coaching staff that he wasn't as good a fit as he was with Malzahn and the previous coaching staff. And they have a quarterback there. So that kind of makes sense. Bigsby leaving is huge. And it's not a great sign at all for that program as a whole.
A couple of questions in college basketball before I let you go. What'd you make of the anger this weekend in college basketball? Some coaches, Kelvin Sampson, a guy I know well, lost his cool. Eric Musselman lost his cool. I'm not sure if you saw the videos, but highly entertaining to watch at least.
Yeah, and Nate Oates with the ghost handshake waiting for Sam. Yeah, Calvin Sampson is, one of the nicest guys in the business, right? I mean, and what he's built at Houston and the money they now have behind that program, that's an elite program. You're starting to see the stress that's on these guys. Bruce Pearl, by the way, sitting out 2 games. The NCAA found it came down in Auburn. That is, if you're keeping score at home, that is a win for Bruce Pearl and Auburn. When the FBI gets involved and your head coach only misses 2 games and you don't get a postseason ban, that is a major victory. You expect, since they ruled on Auburn, that more might be coming down the pike soon, I suppose. I think it's good. I don't like the anger, right? But I think it's good that people are paying attention to college basketball. It has given up so much market share over the last 5 years. I think it's covered differently than it's ever been covered before in terms of, there are more games on, but I feel like there's less national attention on it, whether that be attention that's going to the NFL, which is a behemoth, college football, which never takes a month off. Women's basketball is getting a lot more attention and great for women's basketball, but I feel like fewer eyes are on college hoops. And if you can drum up interest in that way, I'm all for it because, you need people talking in the water coolers and message boards and all that stuff about college hoops. And we're behind the 8 ball in that regard.
Tom, I'm not sure if you watched the A&M game this past weekend, but I'll just ask you just in theory what Buzz is trying to do, how difficult it can be to have so many different types of new players on a program that struggled the year prior and put them all together and try to have it mesh early on.
Yeah, so I didn't see it. So full disclosure, I haven't seen much A&M hoops this year, but I've talked to dozens of coaches already, and they're all going through the same thing, right? And it's I'm not I don't want to cast anything on A&M basketball, but to me, the transfer scenario has kind of gotten to the point of the COVID scenario, right? You can at the same time understand that coaches have never been through anything like this or prepared for anything like this, just like COVID. But you can also understand that generally speaking, it's an even playing field. Everyone's dealing with the same thing. Missouri's got 10 newcomers. Georgia's got 10 newcomers. A&M's got newcomers. I was just getting ready for an Auburn game, all brand new guys, some within conference even with KD Johnson. So it is what you have made of it and what you have invested in it. And so what I think that you'll see is you've got to be like Eric Musselman dealt with this all the time in the CBA. He was a professional coach. Had a new roster every other week. He's got an advantage, but most college coaches haven't had to deal with this. If you haven't embraced it and you're not prepared for it, it'll make for a long year. If you can adapt your coaching style and strengths to coaching new guys and to forcing chemistry, however you can do that, then you'll have a better season. But it's not uncommon to A&M, especially teams in the bottom half of their leagues. Everybody's dealing with a brand new roster.
Appreciate you, Tom. Thanks so much, my man.
Good to see you, brother.
All right, you take care. There's Tom Hart on the BCSI hotline. Appreciate his insight, as always, here on a Monday morning. Right now, Milliken Reserve farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and their mission is to build a healthy community around nature. And if you're just out there, it was kind of cold this weekend, but great to go for a little walk. Imagine doing that where you've got deer, you got trees, you've got lakes, you've got canoeing going on. You got all these things going on. That's what you have at Milliken Reserve. Beautiful area, 30 miles of trails and homes and 2,600 acres of open space and farms. It is the respect for the native landscape there is just so awesome. They care to and they're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community for all of us out there. If you're into hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian, if you're into evening yoga, the summer camps, the music festivals, they got it all there at Milliken Reserve. They really do. And you can become a member of the Conservancy where you can help ensure that native landscape and wildlife continues to grow and prosper out there. Check that out at millikenreserve.com. That is millikenreserve.com.
Your home, Sunday and Monday night NFL is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The NFL is on the zone.
The end of the tax year is near, so if you need maintenance or replacement parts for your construction equipment, WPI has you covered. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
This is State Representative Kyle Cassell wishing you all the timeless treasures that Christmas has to offer. May you be blessed with the warmth of your home, the love of your family, peace, and happiness. May the gifts we share this season be a reminder of God's precious gift to us, and may your Christmas be filled with His love forever. From the Cassell family to yours, have a very Merry Christmas.
Political ad paid for by Kyle Cassell Campaign.
Confession. I just started my holiday shopping. Luckily, Kohl's was here to help save the day. I got 50% off toys for my kids, 30% off a Ninja air fryer for my sister, and 40% off jammies for your families for my family. You can even get 15% off or 15, 20, or 30% off with a Kohl's card and earn Kohl's Cash. So I guess you could say my holiday procrastination paid off. Select styles ends December 19th. Toys, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
DJ K-Dub checking in, previously on the Feinbaum Show.
Stacy in Georgia.
When Alabama plays up to the Alabama standards, can't nobody stop them but Jesus Christ. And somebody said last week, if Georgia didn't win Saturday, when will they win? Well, as long as Nick Saban is there, never.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate Tom Hart here on the program. Right now, though, it is time for Around Aggieland presented by Norman G. State Bank. Norman G. State Bank, rock solid banking. Check them out at normangstatebank.com. Richard Zane with us. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, David. How's it going?
Good, man. What's going on in your world?
Not much. Just went and covered that basketball game on Saturday and then watching football with Dalton yesterday.
Good times. You went to Toyota Center?
I did, yeah.
Good.
It was the first time I've ever been there for a basketball game. I'd seen a Houston Aeros game there before, a long time ago.
Houston Aeros, old school.
Oh, yeah. So around Aggieland, obviously the big storyline is that Mike Elko's left Texas A&M to become the head coach at Duke University. First head coaching opportunity of his career at any level of football, so congratulations to him as he takes over in the Bull City. A&M has not yet named his replacement. On Saturday, 8 Aggies were named all SEC selections by the Associated Press. First team selections, Kenyon Green, DeMarvin Leal, and Nick Constantino. Tyree Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Jalen Weidermeyer, Layden Robinson, and Isaiah Spiller were second team selections. Senior safety Leon O'Neal Jr. has announced he will enter the 2022 NFL Draft, foregoing his final year of eligibility at Texas A&M. He finishes his career with 48 appearances, 161 tackles, 10 TFLs, 1 sack, 18 pass breakups, and 6 INTs, including that pick 6 versus Kent State. Men's basketball lost to TCU 68-64 on Saturday. Marcus Williams had 16 points. TCU 17 offensive rebounds and held a 16-9 advantage over the Aggies in second chance points. A&M just 8 for 18 from the free throw line. Tuesday night's contest with Tulane has been canceled due to COVID-19 complications within the Green Wave program. The Aggies will travel to Corvallis on Saturday to play Oregon State. That'll be their next game. Women's basketball also upended by TCU this weekend, losing 87-75. TCU's Lauren Hurd, 33 points. The Aggies will return to Reed Arena on Sunday. They'll host Rice for a 2 o'clock tip-off in Aggieland. And then G. Guerreri and company have added SEC transfer Vanderbilt midfielder Quinn Kornig, an all-freshman team selection. So that's big news for soccer.
All right, Richard, appreciate you. Billy Lucci coming up next on TexAgs Radio.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family.
Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
This Christmas,